Jake Mitchell lived in a small town where people knew your name, your truck, and unfortunately your business. Once a top mechanic at a big city workshop, Jake had returned home after his father's passing, trading high-end garages for a crumbling shed filled with second-hand tools and rusted parts. He didn't have much, but what he had, he valued, especially his younger sister Mia, who used a wheelchair and depended on him for everything. Business wasn't booming. Most customers went to flashier shops in town. Jake never complained. He believed in quiet work and honest labor, but things were getting harder. Bills were piling up. Mia's medicine was getting costlier, and Jake hadn't had a paying job in 2 weeks. Then one morning, opportunity, or so it seemed, roared into his lot in the form of a sleek black trailer. Out stepped a man with polished boots and an expensive watch. Charles Alden, a self-made millionaire who once lived in town but had long since upgraded his life. Inside the trailer sat a classic, a 1969 Shelby Mustang, one of the rarest models ever built. It looked pristine, but Charles didn't bring it in for a polish. Its heart, the engine, was silent, fried, wrecked. Jake whistled low. "That's a legend." Charles nodded, almost smug. "It is, and it's dead. 5 certified engineers said it's a lost cause. I figured I'd give the small-town hero a shot." Jake raised a brow, catching the condescension. "You don't think I can fix it?" "I don't," Charles admitted, "which is why I'll make you a deal. Fix it in 1 week and I'll give you $10,000. Fail, and you work for me for free a whole month." It was risky, dangerous even. Jake didn't have the tools or resources those engineers did, but he had heart, grit, and nothing left to lose. "You're on," Jake said, shaking Charles's hand with a firm grip. The next day, Jake rolled up his sleeves and began dissecting the engine. He worked alone, morning to midnight. He studied manuals, rewrote wiring plans, and made parts by hand using metal scraps. At one point, he even borrowed a neighbor's battery just to test voltage flow. Each night, Mia would roll into the garage with a sandwich and quietly watch her brother work, worry flickering in her eyes. "You don't have to prove anything," she said one evening. Jake smiled at her. "Maybe not, but I need to prove it to myself." By the 6th day, the Mustang's heart had been rebuilt, differently but brilliantly. Jake had modified the airflow system, cleaned the pistons manually, and rewired the ignition completely. On the 7th day, with trembling fingers and a prayer under his breath, Jake turned the key. The Mustang roared to life like a dragon awakening. Jake didn't smile. He just stood there, heart pounding, knowing everything was about to change, one way or another. The guttural roar of the Mustang's engine echoed through his garage, as if the machine itself was thanking him for bringing it back from the grave. Smoke curled up gently from the exhaust, but the rhythm of the engine was steady, almost proud. Mia clapped from her wheelchair, her face glowing with pride. "You did it, Jake. You actually did it." Jake didn't reply. He just placed his greasy hand gently on the hood, feeling the vibration, the heartbeat of his biggest victory in years. By noon, Charles Alden's trailer rolled back onto the gravel drive. He stepped out in his tailored blazer, expecting failure, even rehearsing some smug lines. But then he saw the Mustang, engine humming, headlights shining, and stopped in his tracks. "You're kidding me," he muttered. Jake wiped his hands with an oily rag and walked over. "She's ready, took some creative engineering. Rebuilt most of it by hand, but it runs better than before." Charles stepped forward and popped the hood. What he saw wasn't just a repaired engine, it was innovation. Jake had used junkyard components to create a hybrid of old-school power and modern efficiency. It wasn't factory spec, it was better. "Start it," Charles ordered. Jake slid into the seat, turned the key, and the Mustang fired up again. Smooth, powerful, controlled. Charles blinked. How did you?" Jake smiled faintly. "Just did what the others wouldn't. I listened to the engine." There was a long silence. Then Charles reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a check. Jake expected $10,000, but the number on it read 100,000. Jake stared. "This isn't what we agreed on." No, Charles said, handing him the check, but it's what you've earned. You didn't just fix a car, you rewrote how it works. I've got engineers with MIT degrees who couldn't do what you did in a barn with scrap metal. Jake was stunned, speechless. And that's not all, Charles continued. I'm opening a performance engineering division. I want you to lead it. You'll have a full team, full funding, and freedom to build whatever you dream up. You game? Jake looked toward Mia, who had tears in her eyes. Then he looked back at the car, at his grease-stained hands, and finally at Charles. I'm in, he said. Months later, Jake stood in a state-of-the-art workshop, leading a team of young mechanics. His first invention, the custom hybrid engine, had already caught the attention of NASCAR and electric racing companies. Mia now had full-time medical care and a specially equipped home. And the Mustang? It sat proudly in the front lobby of Charles Alden's company, a symbol of second chances and brilliance found in unlikely places. Jake never forgot where he came from, but he also never let anyone forget what one broke mechanic could do, with heart, skill, and a little bit of rust.